I want to talk about America's most inbred family and all the drama that has been surrounding them lately, and that is the Whittaker family. I'm not going to go all into their history because I've tried to make a video going into their history, and it just became so long and extensive trying to explain everything. So I'm just going to go and talk to people who've already been keeping up with everything. I have been watching the Whittaker family since they first came on Soft White Underbelly years ago, and I've been watching them for years now. It's been probably a good 3 years. I was on March, and you got to had nothing to show for it. Well, then Eric and this man named Patrick came in the picture, started helping the family. Eric was working on getting the family caretakers that would come in and help take care of this family because this is the most inbred family. Betty and Larry are fully there. They know what's going on. They're aware of their surroundings. Lorraine doesn't really talk much, but, she needs help to sit there and meet her basic needs. She needs help taking a bath or showering or eating, using the bathroom. Timmy is pretty close to the same way. He's more independent out of all them, but he still needs help and assistance. And Ray, he's the hardest out of the bunch. He cannot communicate through no other way outside of like these grunts and barking noises he makes, and he's constantly using the bathroom all over himself. Like Mark and even Eric would show up at the house and see him, and he would always have his pants. Like I noticed when he was messing with Eric, he was starting to be more clean and he didn't seem as soiled, but a lot of times they would show up and Ray would have his pants soiled. He crapped his pants. He'd be walking around. You could see the crap just seething through the back of his pants. You could see urine all over his pants. It was a hot mess. And Betty is the one that's supposed to be taking care of him. And she's collecting a check for all of her disabled brothers and sisters. Ray, Lorraine, Timmy. She's getting a SSI check for them every single month. Well, the state ended up taking Timmy, Lorraine, and Ray, and Betty was super annoyed. Her and Patrick were like, I don't understand why the Adult Protective Services took Lorraine, Timmy, and Ray, and they feel like the house isn't clean enough for them to live in it, but they think it's clean enough for Betty and for Larry to live in it. And that's because Betty and Larry are competent. They know what's going on, but the others, they have no choice, the conditions that they're in. They had to do whatever Betty wanted to do for them, and it seemed like she was doing the bare minimum. Ray had all these issues with his knees, and I guess he did eventually go to the doctor, and they felt like his knees were almost like fused together since he was born like inbred, because it has issues with like your bone structure. And it affects your bone structure, whatever. Well, his knee has a lot of issues, and he's been wanting to go to the doctor for years. Betty hasn't tried to take him to the doctor. She hasn't taken Lorraine to the doctor. She hasn't taken Timmy to the doctor. They literally just been living out on their front porch for years. Literally living there. They barely leave the house. Like, people are upset that Lorraine, Ray, and Timmy got taken away, and this may be considered a hot take, but I honestly think it was for the best, in my opinion. I know, like, yes, they've been with Betty all their lives, and blood's thicker than water, and it's going to be hard for them not being around Betty all the time, but I'm sure eventually they'll be able to get to a point where Betty will be able to come and visit them. But Betty was only giving them the bare minimum. She wasn't taking them to the doctor. She wasn't cleaning up after them. She wasn't cleaning up Ray after he was having accidents. She wasn't taking care of their dental hygiene. It looked like she wasn't brushing their teeth, and all their teeth had literally rotted out of their mouths. And the thing that made me really upset is when I saw Lorraine's toenails. So Lorraine and Betty went to the salon the other day to get a manicure and pedicure, and this is what Lorraine's toenails look like. And that's just Lorraine. And I guess Eric said Timmy's toenails were really, really, really bad too. And he had to spend one night cutting his toenails and his fingernails, and it took him a long time. And I can't even imagine how hard it was for Lorraine to walk around with her toenails were like that. And I can't even imagine what Ray's toenails are looking like. And at least Lorraine and Timmy, they got theirs clipped, but Ray didn't get his clipped. He didn't get to go to a salon, and nobody pulled up to clip his toenails. But now that he's in a hospital, hopefully he's finally able to get that taken care of. So she was not meeting their basic needs. She was just doing the bare minimum. Ray was constantly crapping his pants, and she was just allowing it. She wasn't changing him. She's getting SSI checks for him where she can afford to get him diapers or, you know, a change of clothes to change him when he does have accidents. But instead, she's letting him crap his pants and walk around with 2-day-old crap in his pants and all over his clothes. And I guess Eric said that when he walked inside their house, he couldn't stay in their house for longer than 30 seconds because there was crap everywhere. Ray would spit all over the place. He would crap all over the place, have crap seeping out of the back of his pants, out of his pants, and he would lay down and sit everywhere, and crap would get everywhere. He said on the floor, it was just covered in dog feces and human feces and cat feces. And the worst part is, this stuff had been all over the ground, and a lot of it was years old. So they would just let Ray and whoever else and the animals crap all over the floor. They wouldn't even bother to pick it up, and they would just let it sit there and get all nasty. And eventually it got to the part where it started getting all moldy. He said it was so bad there was literally black spores growing out of all the feces everywhere. He said it's covered in the floor, years old feces, and every day they're adding even more feces to the ground. It's just overwhelming. It's on the ceilings, it's on the walls, it's on the fridge, it's down everywhere. It's comfortable being. The whole place is just infested with roaches. One day I think the grandson, I can't remember his name, Brandon, I think, he came in and set a pizza box down, and Eric said he just saw like 1,000 roaches scatter. He said he always constantly saw roaches. Like one day they got pizza, and the pizza had been sitting out for days, and he saw roaches in the pizza, and he felt bad because he's like, you know, Ray likes pizza, so he don't know no better, so he probably came up and grabbed him a piece, and he could just be sitting there eating roaches, and that's an issue. Plus, a lot of times Betty will be all cleaned up, and so will Ray, but everybody else in the house will have nasty clothing that hasn't been washed in weeks. And we got Ray who has feces smeared all over his jeans and pants that's just been sitting there, and she's just allowing it to happen. They don't have any plumbing. I don't think they have running water, but I'm not 100% sure. I know they don't have plumbing, so they literally have to use the bathroom and go dump it out in the creek behind their house, which I'm pretty sure that's not even legal. Hopefully nobody's swimming out in that creek. And then she just has all this going on and allowing it to happen, and there was a few other things. She's the crap, the bugs, and then she let BJ come back around, who's on drugs, who admitted that Betty herself admitted that BJ laid hands on Timmy and laid hands on these disabled people who cannot defend for themselves. And she let this woman come back knowing she's on drugs, knowing that she beat up her disabled family members. And it's like, if you really care about your family members, I would go through hell and high water to protect them and make sure that this person did not come back around again. I'm actually excited for them, and I think that their future is going to be a lot happier. I think they're all going to finally be able to get the kind of health care they need. At least we know that they're going to be in a comfy bed. They're all going to have their own room. They're all going to have the health care they need, and they're all going to be clean at the end of the day, and nobody else can keep using them as a meal ticket. I'm honestly shocked they're able to still keep their animals, if the animals are living in a house that's just covered in human and animal feces, years old. Oh my goodness. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Have you guys been keeping up with the Whittakers? Do you guys agree with Eric deciding to back off and not get them the house? I agree. I think that everything revealed itself before he got too deep in it. I mean, he was already deep enough, But at least he found this all out before the house started to get built, because once that house was gonna start being built and was finished, then there's really no going back or nothing he could do once the Whittakers are in there and they have BJ there and they want to do whatever they want. I don't think he really would have as much control as he was hoping he'd be able to. And I think it would have just been a matter of time before they trash that house. Even with caretakers, it's going to be really hard to find caretakers that are going to be there 24 hours of the day. They might be able to find caretakers that come over a little bit part of the day, but still that means the rest of the day that Betty would have to try to keep it clean and do what she needs to do. And I don't know if she's able to do that. But let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.